Lindsay was 22 when she traveled from Britain to Japan to become an English teacher at the Nova Language School in Tokyo. She was living with her two roommates, and on March 26th, as she left for work, that would be the last time they see her. 6 days earlier, Lindsay was getting ready to go home from work when a man named Tatsuya approached her and told Lindsay she was his English teacher. Lindsay knew her student's faces well and told him that he has the wrong person, and proceeded to ride her bike back to her apartment. Upon arrival, she turns around to find that he followed her back, chasing after her. He asked if she can be his tutor, as he wanted to study abroad, and also if he can get a glass of water. Maybe he's just eccentric, she thought, so he was invited inside. Her roommates were home, so she made sure he was seen by them. While they were chatting, Tatsuya sketched a picture of Lindsay and wrote down his full name and email. On Saturday, March 24th, they met at a cafe for their tutoring session. After their English lesson was over, Tatsuya claimed he forgot his wallet and needed to get it. He invited Lindsay inside his apartment, located in the east of Tokyo. Lindsay told the taxi driver to wait for her outside as it would only take a second. But after 7 minutes, the driver noticed that there were no signs of her coming out, so he left. Lindsay's father received a call from the Nova Language School staff saying she hadn't shown up at work for the last 2 days. Her roommates contacted the police, and on record, they noticed Ichihashi had a previous stalking incident. Now they had proper cause to go inside, and a total of 9 police officers were outside at Ichihashi's apartment. As one of the officers opened the door, Tatsuya bursted out of the apartment. He jumped down the stairs to the lower level and quickly escaped into the streets. While investigating the apartment, police saw a bathtub on the balcony of the building. It was filled with sand and compost soil. What they discovered was Lindsay's body decomposing with clear signs of strangulation. Neighbors were called hearing a loud metal noise in the middle of the night, so that must have been Tatsuya dragging his bathtub onto the balcony. Police were unable to capture him, and news of Tatsuya quickly spread, with 30,000 wanted posters distributed all across Japan. Cardboard cutouts were placed around Tokyo, and even depictions of him in woman disguises were plastered everywhere. However, Tatsuya evaded the police so well that weeks turned into months. Lindsay's parents had flown to Japan, frustrated as there were still no updates on her daughter's killer. Lindsay's father even offered members of the Yakuza he had met at a bar bottles of whiskey, asking for their assistance. The Japanese police were under scrutiny for having 9 police officers let Tatsuya get away, and unfortunately, the investigation turned cold, and then 2 years had passed. Still on the run, Tatsuya had traveled from the northern region Aomori down to Okinawa and then settled in Osaka. The Japanese media and police released a new photograph of Ichihashi, stating they believe he had plastic surgery and to keep an eye on key defining characteristics on Tatsuya's face. The reward for capturing him went from 1 million yen to 10 million yen. And by this time, Tatsuya had already changed his appearance through self-mutilation. Cutting off the moles on his cheek with a box cutter. He used scissors to cut off part of his lower lip, and even altered the shape of his nose using a sewing needle. For 13 months, he worked jobs in construction sites to pay for his plastic surgeries, altering his face even further. He removed his fingerprints, gained weight, and hopped around internet cafes under a new identity to stay the nights. It wasn't until one of his plastic surgeons realized the man he worked on was the culprit, and he tipped off the police after Ichihashi made the fatal error of doing a before and after photo. His cover was blown, and Tatsuya knew he needed to escape. On November 10th, as he fled to the ferry port heading to Okinawa, a worker recognized him from the new image posted and immediately contacted security. Shortly after, Tetsuya was caught by officers and arrested moments later. Before his trial in 2011, he had published an autobiography detailing his 2.5 years on the run and what he had to do to avoid detection. The court case was publicized all over Japanese media, where 32-year-old Tetsuya admitted to luring Lindsay into his apartment and strangled her, leaving the body inside the bathtub on the balcony. In front of the court, he fell to his knees and apologized. "I did not intend to kill her, but I am responsible for her death. I am very sorry for what I did," he said. The Hawker family urged the court to give him the death penalty. However, because he had no prior criminal record, the court opted to sentence him to life in prison instead. Lindsay's father spoke to the media and said, "We have waited 4.5 years to get justice for Lindsay. We are very pleased, and I would also like to thank the Japanese people. We would not have got this far without everyone's help. Lindsay loved Japan, and you have not let her down. Thank you."